It's early in the morning, the sun is shining beautifully. I'm having my morning stretch. Oh, that's really nice. Oh, I'm gonna go meet my brother for a coffee. And I am an honorary member of the Invisible Makeup Brigade. It's a trend that's going round. I've been doing it for years. It's literally looking like you're wearing absolutely no makeup, but looking way better than you do with no makeup. Would you like to be part of my brigade? I was just checking my greys. Look, I've got a few. I think it needs a little bit of colour. I haven't had it coloured for a while. Haven't had it coloured for that long. There's only a few in there. Oh well. Blast from the Past Moisturiser Embryolisse. Old classic. I don't know anyone that this moisturiser hasn't been good on. You know, it doesn't break the mould, it doesn't do anything that they don't have any claims to say we are this, we are that. But as a makeup artist, I have used it on so many people and it's never caused any problems. So I'm just popping that on to give my skin a little bit of thirstiness. A little bit of water. As you can see, the sun is out, so a little bit of SPF. This is number 7. This is a nice lightweight SPF. It doesn't sit heavy on the skin, but it still has an SPF of 50. I'm going to give my skin a glow from within. So if you have an oily skin, maybe something like the new Milk Primer, which will hold your makeup in place but still has a glow to it. You could use something like the By Terry CC, Vive Skin Nova. If you want to be really spenny, you could use the Victoria Beckham Skin Rejuvenating Serum. I'm going to use the Milk one because it's newer and I want to show it to you. So I'm just going to pop that on the back of my hand. Just pop that on any areas that you find your makeup doesn't last if you have an oilier skin, or anywhere that you want the glow to come through the skin. We're coming back to both those products in a minute, so keep them to one side. Next step is moving on to brows. Before I do my brows, I like to conceal around the outside of them so they just kind of frame the brow hair a little bit more. You could use a brow pen if you want, not a brow pen, a concealer pen if you want. These ones are the Lisa Eldridge or the James Rhode. Or if you're not that snazzy, you could use a concealer. I actually like the consistency of a concealer. This is the Mario concealer. What's it called? Surreal Skin? Yeah, Surreal Skin. This one is in the colour 200. I'm just going to take that on a brush that's got a nice, reasonably firm shape and just go around the outside of my brows with that. Just to, you know, from years of plucking and where my skin isn't as even, just to softly blur that. I do find that a liquid concealer does blend a little bit nicer. You know, it kind of disappears into the skin for this real natural look. And that's already framed the brows a little bit nicer. I'm going to take a little bit anywhere else because I've got it still left on my hand. So I may as well use the concealer up. And then I'm going to use my fingers to blend where I put the extra concealer. Now my brows look okay, but I want to make them look a tiny bit fuller but natural. I'm going to go in with the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Freeze Gel, just to kind of sweep them the way my brows naturally go. Because I have a few, my brows are so thin and pathetic that I have a few that point the wrong way and, you know, they're just pointless. Pointless, but I need them. So I'm just running that over. This is my second one of these. I found my other one still has quite a bit of product left in it, but it's going white. So that when I use it, it makes the brows look white, which is really annoying because I absolutely adore the product. I just don't know if it's quite there, but I've bought another one because I like it that much. So I just run that on and then run my finger over it to tap them down. I then get one of my favourite all-time Real Techniques brushes, the Lash Separator. I think this is literally the one I reach for more than any other brush. Oh, and the Multitasker. Those are my 2 brushes. Oh, maybe the setting one as well. Sorry, I digress. There's 3. But I would say they are my 3 brushes I reach for more than anything. Which are yours? Are you the same 3? This one I cannot be without. Gone are the days of the brows pointing straight up. I just want them to look uniform and tidy, and for the little rogue ones that point straight out to sit a little bit flatter. This brow is definitely a more superior brow to this one. This is the side I sleep on. Now I can definitely get away with my brows looking like this, but I have this thing that I want them to be a little bit fuller. So I'm going to go in with my NYX Lift and Snatch. This could go two ways. They either look great or they just don't. But I still do it every time. So let's have a go and see what today has in offer for us. So I just take it and I, where my brows are a little bit thin, I follow the current and I draw the odd little line to make them look a little bit fuller. So far, it's okay. We would stop here, but I never do. I then decide that I need to do a bit more because it's obviously going well today. And then I like to do a couple just at the front, and this is where I could really ruin it. Okay. So pointless. I know it's so pointless. It's not necessary, but it makes a big difference to me. This side, I just need a couple at the end here. On my far superior brow, look how much better that one is. This one not as good. Just so much nicer, that brow. Copy paste. I will be coming back to that again as well. Look, the shine's starting to come through. Next step, a little bit of base. Whichever base you tend to use, nothing that's too powdery and too heavy, because I'm going to put moisturiser over the top of the base, and if I do, it will separate it. I'm going to go for Merit. I have two of these, one that's in my winter colour, one that's in my slightly summerer colour, Bisque and Linen. I'm going to use them both. I'm going to take Linen, which is the lighter one, on the higher points, and anywhere I want to jut out, you know, project out. And Bisque can just fit into the gaps around it. I'm going to use my hands to blend it in. I like to use my hands for this sort of makeup. Working around my brows. Right, when I am 3/4 of the way blended, when it's just literally nearly done, back in with my moisturiser, a small amount on the back of my hand, rub it into my fingers, and push it over the top. That's just going to blend the foundation so it just works into the skin so much nicer and looks like you've got nothing on. But better. It just gives this kind of beautiful glow on top of the skin. Lets the foundation work in better, but gives this, like, I'm not wearing anything glow, which I love. It's that kind of skincare over makeup look. I'm going to take a little bit of my Delilah Wake Up. This is an eye moisturiser. I'm just going to pop that under my eyes. So you're getting that just moisturised skin glow, but you got a bit of something underneath. This next step is completely optional and probably unnecessary, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to take a little bit of my, this is Chanel Stylo Contour in number 12, and I'm just going to pop it there, and there, and there. Totally unnecessary if you don't have it. Taking a MAC 217 to just blend it. So just blending that so it creates a little bit of shape and a little bit of shadow, and then blending the underneath the same. Use my fingers just to make sure that's really softly diffused in with my skin. See, I love that because of the natural kind of strategically placed darkness it gives the eyes. So you look tired, but it's in the place that you want to. And then going to go back in with my NYX pen and just extend out a touch. Just so it looks like a rogue lash has winged out and lifted my eye. Not so it's really noticeable, it's got to look really natural. So just a little lift following the eye. So you couldn't tell if that was a lash or not. Really does just shape the eyes out. Just going to curl my lashes to give them a little bit of help. And I'm going to use the new Lisa Eldridge Kitten Lash Mascara in Burnt umber. So not black, just a soft, warm brown. It's also not a really maximising mascara. I don't want anything that looks like I've got makeup on. You know, you could use a clear mascara if you prefer. I'm then ready to go in with a bit of cream bronzer. You can use your Chanel, you can use a liquid bronzer like this is the Sculpted by Amy. I'm actually going to use the Mario liquid bronzer, is it called? Bronzing and shaping serum. I'm going to use a little bit of that. Far too much came out then. I like this Rare Beauty brush to do this, so I'm going to take a bit on my brush. I tend to start on my forehead because that's where I will lay down the most product, and that can also be hidden by my fringe if I go too heavy-handed. So I start there, making sure it's going right in the hairline. Then on my cheeks. This is where the sun would hit, so across the cheek, but also across the nose. A little bit on my cupid's bow. What's left on the brush would go up here because that juts out, so the sun would get that. The number 7 duo stick would be brilliant for this actually. The Pro Artist new dual-ended stick, because it has a blush as well, and I'm going to use a different blush. So I'm going to take the Vive. Actually the Daniel Sandler watercolours would be great, but this one is Vive Sunset Blush Balm in Rosa. I'm going to take a little bit of that onto the back of my hand, and I'll use my other favourite brush, a setting brush, and just dust that over the cheek. Doesn't come out too much, which is what I want. A little bit dusted across the nose, a bit through here. Use my hands just to make sure that's all really nicely blended and part of my skin. All this effort to look like I've got no makeup on. It's nuts, isn't it? Then I'm going to take a little bit of my Milk primer again, tiny bit on the back of my hand, between my fingers, and on the top of my cheek. Last step is lip. I'm going to make sure my lips are clean, so the colour is back in the lips. And then I'm going to take a little bit of Rhode Peptide Lip Shape in Twist and just use that on the outside. I like this because it's really blurring. It looks like you've not got anything on. I'm using it around the outside to almost create shade again. Shade and shadow, and then just using my finger to make it disappear. And that is my invisible makeup. You can see I've got something on, but you can't really see. It looks like I've got a tiny bit of mascara on. You can't really see that I've winged it out. Looks like maybe I've got a bit on my brows, but you can't really tell how much bloody time I spent doing it. And it just gives that little like, oh, I'm effortlessly chic. I don't look like I make any effort, when really it took me an hour to get ready. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to tell me what you want next. I'm thinking about doing a 90s eye. Let me know.